Hey guys, welcome to the Purpose University. My name is Fejiro Anita Ibune, and you're welcome back again. This is an amazing time that we're going to spend together talking about a lot of things. And if you have not checked out our previous videos, go check them out. They have good insight, knowledge, nuggets that can help you in fulfilling purpose that you want to achieve and just living a life that you've always planned to live that is filled with freedom, wealth, and abundance. So let's go straight into it. I, for one, I'm a planner. I am organized. I love being organized. It just makes me feel like I have structure. But sometimes, things happen, and because when things happen, we cannot control everything. So we must make wiggle room for it. But I love to organize, and I've seen the importance of organizing. That does not mean that because things happen mean you should not create plans and strategies and organization and stuff to help you accomplish stuff. So I told you already know it's planning and organization is your superpower. It is a superpower. I have seen what organization does and how it's brought an effective result, not just any result, effective result. I'll give you an example. When I was working as a CAD operator and engineer at my company uh, in Toronto, I used to see how they created this chart on Excel, and they call it the operation system. So they monitor the hours that the workers are putting in to make a specific fabric or a specific material or a specific item. And I saw it, I was like, wow, this is very intense. But they didn't just do it in terms of even sewing, because I worked for a furniture company, right? Contract seating company. They didn't just only do it in terms of sewing or upholstery or whatever, in terms of wood production, framing, engineering, 3D designing, and so much more. Times were being allocated to create a cost value for labor. And I saw that and I was like, wow, that is very organized, because that helps you not just assume how much to charge people, but you have an estimate, right? So it is a superpower. Organization and planning is a superpower. And I said before, will things happen? Yes. Will life sometimes disrupt your plan? Yes. But does it stop you from planning? No. Keep planning. Always make sure that you have a system and something that helps you guide where you're going. And I'll talk about it, because most times we have goals. Many of us set goals. And I'm gonna for one say it for myself, because I also used to make a mistake with this. I remember that I set a goal to lose weight. I did. I was like, oh, when I was start this year, I'm gonna focus on my health and da da da. Did I set a plan? No, I did not. I just set a goal. Oh, I said I'm going to, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. I wrote it on my to-do list, my goal setter board. I wrote it there, and it just sat there for, hours, and hours turned to days, and days turned to months. And I never ever achieved it at that moment. And when the end day came, when I said, "Oh, at this month I'm going to lose this weight, this kg," I checked my weight. I'm like, I did not even go. I didn't even lose. I gained. I gained weight. And I asked myself, by the time May was reaching, I asked myself, why was I not able to achieve? I set the goal. I wrote down the goal. People always say, write it down. We always tell you, write it down. At least let it not just be in your head. Write it down first. Create the vision board. Beautiful, beautiful things to do. But all of those are useless if you don't have a plan. I've said it. All of those are useless if you don't have an action plan. And not just any plan, an action plan, whereby you create a system that will help you achieve that goal. Not just writing down the goal. My goal is to make 1 million by this time. How do you want to do it? Today I did a very mini plan. I'll just share it with you for a second. It was just a thing that I've always wanted to do. I was going through my book and I saw something that I wrote and I said, oh, I want to be a millionaire by the age of 30. And I said that and I just wrote in my book a millionaire at the age of 30. It's a goal, right? But what's the plan to get that goal? If I'm gonna get $1 million a year, how much am I gonna be making? So I sat down and I was analyzing, okay, $1 million a year. The first thing I had to ask was, if you want to make $1 million a year, you need to know how much you're making a day, a month, an hour. Because if you just look at $1 million, it looks like a big goal. So what do? You look at your goal, you probe your goal, and then you break your goal down. So as much as you plan this thing, you have this goal written down, create a plan to it. So me creating a plan for that goal was me saying, okay, if I really want to achieve this thing, how much do I have to make per hour, per week, per month to make me, achieve this thing? So I divided it. I divided 1 million by 12 months. And I said, okay, if I was to make $1 million a year, I have to be making at least 83 or 84,000 a month. I was like, okay. So if I want to make 84,000 a month, I've already broken down, I've created a plan. Okay, so you have to make 84,000 a month. Okay, how do you make 84,000 a month? It's kind of big, right? So I divided it by weeks. So I have to be making not just 84,000 a month, I have to be making 20,000 or 21,000 a week. Okay, so if I'm making 21,000 a week, I can then be a millionaire by the end of the year. All right, I'll make my first million at the end of the year. So how do I make 21,000 a week? I have to be making 2,900 a day. 2,900 a day. In the day, there's 24 hours, right? Now, depending on how many hours I want to put, if I'm doing active where I'm putting in one-on-ones or whatever, how much do I have to charge a day to get 1 million at the end of the year? I need to charge at least 3,000 in a day. I need to get 3,000 in my account every day for me to achieve 1 million. And this is after tax, by the way. So I say, okay, how do I make 3,000 a day? I create something that will help me create money, that amount of money. So let's say, for example, you do a course. A course you're charging 300, for example. Just giving an example. If you charge 300 in that day, if you multiply that by 10, you've made what? How much have you made? 3,000. So I need to sell my course to 10 people for me to get 3,000 a day. Have you seen how I just created a plan? Now, when I do that, is my goal more likely to be achieved? Yes, it is. Because I've created a plan on how I'm going to achieve it. Like I said, things will happen, but at least you have a plan. So I'm saying that planning is your superpower. It's a very amazing thing. Honestly, it's one of the most amazing things you have, because people write goals and they write, oh, I'm gonna lose weight by the end of this month. I'm going to lose this kg. Okay, how are you gonna do it? There's a how, and that's what planning does. And when you plan, you have to make sure it's smart, right? So as much as you know that planning is important, do not plan and it's not smart. And you know what I mean by smart? I talked about this in my first video of the beauty of system building. Go check out that video if you want to know what smart is. But what I talked about smart is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based goals. So whereby that if you're going to create a plan, you have to make sure it's specific. It's not just, all over the place. I just made my plan specific. I made it plan specific. I need to sell 10 courses to make 3 grand a day. So 10 people a day. And that is very attainable. And that's just a course. If I have 3 passive income, I can split and say, okay, I need to make 1,000 from each passive income. Right? So that means I need to sell, to 3 or 4 people a day, depending on how much I'm charging, per course. Like I said, if I have 3 courses and I'm charging them 300 each, or let's even say 300 each, I have to sell at least 4 courses for me to make 1,000 from each platforms. So basically, in the 3 platforms, I need to make 1,000 from here, 1,000 from here, 1,000 from here to make 3,000, right? So if I'm going to make 1,000 from here, I need to sell at least 4 courses. I need to sell 4 courses and 4 courses in each place. Do you understand? So it doesn't matter how you do your plan. You have to figure out how you're going to make your plan. But your goal at the end of the day is to make 1,000,000 at the end of the year. That is more likely to be achieved than just writing, I'm going to make 1,000,000 a year and then not do anything about it. So let your plan be smart. Another thing is that an organized life reveals a balanced life. If you do not create organization in your life, it's going to affect the way your life goes. Like I said, if you are setting a goal for yourself and say, okay, I create a plan to do it, it creates balance. Make sure that you have balance. Organizing and prioritizing things, that's why time management comes in. And I talked about it in the previous video. Go check it out if you want to check it out. Time management equals time value. Excuse me. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that if you want to create a balanced life, you must have an organized life. An organized life is a life that's covered up with principles, discipline, and structure. A system that guides you. Now, make room for the inevitables because the inevitables will come. Life happens, right? But you also have to make a plan for life happens. That's why you see people have emergency funds because they know things will happen. Emergencies will come up. So you plan for those emergencies. So if you know that life will happen, you must also create a time, a thing or a structure that will cater for when life happens. It doesn't mean that there's no wiggle room, there's no freedom. There is freedom, but it just makes sure that you have a balanced life. You see people out there doing things they want to do, they're traveling. They've created something to make sure that they have an organized life, a life that has plans, action plans that help them execute it. Now, pre-plan. Pre-plan before your week starts. And I talk about this a lot. I have a planner. There's something I do, Purpose University, we do. It's called a yearly planner. We create a yearly planner of what we want to do. It's a rough sketch. It's never really completely accurate, but at least it's a rough sketch of the things that you want to achieve by the end of the year. And then from there, we transfer it to a monthly planner. A monthly planner is where you then say, okay, I already said in the month of January, I'm going to write a book or I'm going to do something. So in that month, you then write out, how can I then achieve that thing I said I was going to do in a month? So the month, you write down more probed answer or plan or more detailed plan of how you're going to achieve your goal at the end of that month. Then you then go to a weekly planner. A weekly planner helps you schedule your time and goals and plan how you're going to achieve that at the end of the month. So if your goal at the end of the month is to do your hair, okay, how can I achieve doing my hair? First, I need to go to the salon and buy things. If I'm not buying extensions, how am I going to get the extensions? Okay, I need to contact this person. So you then allocate time and dates. Okay, on this day, I'm going to call this person. If they don't pick up, then I can call them on this next day. Do you understand? Because the inevitable is that they may not pick up, right? So that you create a plan for the inevitable. If they don't pick up on this day, I'm going to do this. If they don't pick up on that day, then on this day, I'm going to do this. But make sure that you have a plan. Now, do you live your life completely with a plan? No, please, you're not a robot. There's freedom in life, right? But at least have plans for things. If it does not work out, oh well, then you live, you know that at least you tried your best, right? Then you just regret it and say, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Pre-plan your week. Make a schedule of what you want to do in that week. I do that all the time. By the end of Friday or Saturday, I bring my weekly planner and I plan my next week. Okay, this week I plan to do this, I plan to do that. It may work, it may not work, but at least I have a plan. I put it on my wall and I see it. I'm like, okay, I said I'm going to do this. Then I go to my calendar. I time block my calendar. So I said this week I'm going to do this. I start putting it back in my calendar. When I'm done writing it down, I transfer it to my calendar. And you can use Google Calendar. Google Calendar is a very good time blocker. It's amazing. Just put in the time and the allocated time that you want to do things, and then you do that. For example, even today, I said I was going to record a video at this today, And then because I said, okay, my goal for Thursday is to record a video, I didn't know when I was going to do it. So I created a time. Between 10 to 11:30, I am going to record 2 videos between 15 to 30 minutes each. That is a time management system, and that is me planning. So I already planned it, and now I did it. So creating a time that it's not just, creating a plan is not just, oh, just writing it down. Creating something that will help you execute it is what happens. That's why it has to be SMART, smart. Use the planner to achieve all you want. Like I said, if you have a goal, create a plan to achieve that goal. Don't just say, well, my goal was to lose 20 kg by the end of the year. How? How are you going to lose 20 kg at the end of the year? You create a planner. Okay, so if I'm going to really lose 10 kg at the end of the year, I need to find a way that I create a system that will help me achieve that goal. You may not lose 20 kg at the end of the year, but at least you will lose some kg than lose none. Because what we do is that we sit on that goal and say, oh, I'm going to lose. And time passes by, we realize that we never achieved anything because we did not make a plan to actually execute it. And that leads to our last point. Let it be action-based, see through, implement. Do not just plan it. Do not just plan it, do it. Do not just plan it, execute it. Do not just plan it, fulfill it. Don't just write it on your book and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then don't do it. You remember I always say that a lack of discipline is a lack of self-respect. So if you respect yourself enough, get up and do it. Finish what you started. Don't just sit down and say, well, I'm going to make this plan. Planning is my superpower. I'm going to organize this whole thing and then never do it. Please do it. That's why it has to be smart. Your goal and your plans have to be smart, because sometimes the reason why we're not able to do this is because it's not realistic, or the time base is not the best, or it's not even attainable, or it's not even specific. Do you understand? Or it's not even measurable. It doesn't make sense. You say you want to make a specific amount, or let's not even talk about money because we use money a lot. Let's say that you want, like I said, weight loss, or you want to spend time with your family. That's the best example. You want to spend time with your family, you write it as your goal. Spend time with my family. This year, I must spend time with my family. You don't make a plan to spend time with your family. You go to work from 9 to 5, 6 p.m. you're home. You eat dinner. By that time, you're just even tired. You do a few things, and then you're off to bed. You already know your time will not allow you to spend time with family. So what do? You say, okay, when I come back from work, I do my exercise or whatever it is that you want to do after your work. You eat dinner and everything. You shower and all of that. You say, okay, I'm going to allocate 30 minutes every day to watch a TV show with my family. From this time to this time, 8 p.m., 9 p.m.-ish, we'll sit in the living room, or 8 p.m., because some children have to go to bed by 9 p.m. 8 p.m., we'll watch a show or something, or we'll play a game, or we'll do something together as a family. And then you give everybody the time. By 8 p.m., this is our time to spend our family. You've already created a system, and you've created an action plan that you can achieve. If let's say, even say you're a child of God and you want to, do daily devotionals with your children. Now, the mornings cannot work. So what do? You say, okay, before we go to bed, we all come to the living room, we bring out our Bible, and we study for 30 minutes from 8 to 9 or 8:30 to 9, whatever. We come, open our Bibles, and we study the word together. And when it's time, we pray together and we go home. That is you creating a time. So don't just say, oh, I'm going to make sure that this year my family and I will pray before we go to bed. Okay, yeah, that's the goal. Good. How do you achieve that goal? By creating a plan that is realistic, that is smart, that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. Put a time to your plan. Don't just write the plan. Make sure that you put a time to your plan. And when you put a time to your plan, make sure you implement it. So planning is very important. Don't just think that having these goals is enough. And some people even have the to-do list goals, but you don't even put a time to it. And then you say, oh my God, the time is already 12 p.m. Oh, when did that happen? You can put a time to it. That's why you see now everybody says, oh, let me check my calendar, because now you got to put a time to it. For you to be reliable and accountable, be a reliable person, you have to make sure you manage your time properly. You put a time. I told myself that I want to, okay, so my goal for this year was to build my friendship on a more better way. I wanted to invest in my friendship. That was what I said. January came, I did not do anything. February came, I didn't do it. March came, I didn't do anything. I said, okay, no, this will not work. I need to make sure I create a plan to call my friends. And you know what I did? You guys want to know what I did? I put on my calendar, call your friends at this time. I put their names. I put their names. I said, call this person, call this person, call this person on this day. So every day, so let's say I choose Friday. Every Friday, I must call these 3 people. No matter what it is, I put a time on my calendar and I said, call these people. It's an all-day goal. So I put it there. I didn't allocate a specific time to it. I said, but it's on my calendar. It's right there. You can't even unsee it. It's like right there in your face. I put a reminder on my phone as well. Call these people. Reminds me every 1 hour to call these people. Now, are my friendships not going to be better? Yeah, because now I'm going to call them. I'm going to put more intention into it. So it's everything. It's finances, it's family, it's traveling, it's so many things. If your goal is to travel once a year, okay, what time in that year do I feel like I want to travel? If you want to travel during summer, then put a time. Okay, in August, I'm going to travel from this day to this day. You take time off from your work and you want plan. That says you find the restaurant, this hotel, you find a plan that involves hotel and flight trips. You plan, okay, if this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. What's the weather for that day? Weather can change, obviously, but at least you create a plan, you book the ticket, you do what you got to do, and then you go for your vacation. If you don't have the money, you say, okay, if I want to travel in a year, I need this specific amount of money. Okay, so every month I would take in 200 or 300 from the money I would use to spend going out. I would save that money and then add it up until August. And by that time, you're spending 300, saving 300, saving 300. You've already saved at least 4,000 or 5,000 for your trip. So you understand what I'm saying? If you know you're going to travel the next year in August, that year you start finding tickets to book for the next year. Now, like I said, will things happen? Yes, they will. Life will happen. And if it happens, you can always wiggle around it. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm going to travel the end of the year, but if anything happens, I can just save that money and reschedule it. So then you book a flight that you can change the date in case anything happens or comes up. But at least that money is already saved up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very important to create a plan that is not just any plan, but a plan that involves action, an action plan that helps you implement it, that is smart, that is specific, that is measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. And I hope that this video was really helpful. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and share this video to somebody, because you never know who needs this video. Just share it to someone, and I'll see you guys later. Make sure you also check out our website at thepurposeuniversity.ca. It's on our description. Check out our website and register for the Bookmaker Masterclass. Listen, you want to start living life where you're not always actively putting in your hours. A book is one of those ways. Everybody has a book in them. Everybody has a book in them. It's just waiting for you to unleash it. You just need a strategy and a blueprint that will help you transform that idea into an actual book. So make sure you register for the Bookmaker Masterclass. It's in August 9th. It's online, so you don't have to bother about even transportation or anything. It's going to be online. Make sure you guys check it out, and I will see you guys later. The link will be below, or it will be QR code, whatever it is. It's always in the description code over there. So I'll see you guys later, and stay blessed. Bye.